One, to connect with our new talent. Another, to introduce our members and attendees to other platforms and grow their careers. And last but not the least, to celebrate our scholarship winners.
That is wonderful. I'm glad we have members and guests today who are attending and spending their Saturday morning with us. And I promise you, if you're open to it, you'll take a thing or two from today's seminar, along with an opportunity to expand on your network.
Moving along, I'd like to talk about the agenda of the day. So we will begin with the President's note, who will talk about the glory of SpeedBC and the wonderful team. Followed by that, we have 5 distinguished speakers amongst us, who will take the stage one by one and enlighten us about their fields of work. After every speaker, we will announce one scholarship winner. SpeedBC has had this tradition of awarding scholarships to deserving candidates every year from various categories so that they can continue to develop the fields of engineering and technology. By the way, the scholarship applications for this year have opened up. Don't forget to check speedbc.org for the categories and apply for the scholarships. The House will then open up for questions and answers and any comments that you might have. Make sure you address the questions to specific speakers so that they can answer them in the end. I'd also like to add that the purpose of this event is to learn from one another. So we invite and encourage maximum participation in this. I'm sure we will all benefit from those discussions. The event will then be concluded by a thank you note from the Vice President.
Thank you, Arsha. It truly seems like a jam-packed agenda today. So with no further ado, I would like to invite on our virtual stage or screen, whatever we call it, the man who migrated from India 10 years ago after completing his mechanical engineering. He managed to upskill with EIT at EGBC. He has a diverse background. He has worked as a design engineer and a project manager for companies like Bosch, Tridec Technology, PC Hydro, and TELUS, and is currently serving us as a president. I would say he is a dedicated leader who inspires us to look beyond COVID-19 challenges. Please help me in welcoming Kunal Parthendu, the president of SpeedBC.
Thank you so much, Bobby, for the introduction. Very good morning to everyone and welcome to our first ever virtual technical seminar of SpeedBC. SpeedBC is not just a name or a non-profit organization. It's now a big family and we are growing exponentially year after year. Yes, we do affected by the pandemic and our work is not as usual. But we are positive, optimistic, and hopeful for the future. The slide highlights our this year events. For the networking, we set up a stage, a booth at the Construction Expo just before the lockdown. For the team building event, we played a golf with the COVID protocol. For the community involvement, we partnered with the Canadian Blood Services and we did first ever blood drive. That means any members can donate a blood anywhere in the Canada. For reaching out to non-members, we had a radio and TV interviews, and we videotape webinars on a specific topics on our YouTube channels. We have few success stories this year where new members, mentees got benefit from our mentorship program. So I encourage to take a benefit of all our programs at no cost. That means free. On our website, like our Facebook pages or LinkedIn pages. At SpeedBC, all our members are 100% volunteers and we don't get any government funding. So here I take opportunity to thank my team members who put together this event. Big thanks to all the sponsors, Big thanks to all the speakers who joined us on their day off. Congratulate to all these scholarship winners. And last but not the least, our valuable sponsor who are supporting us from the last 25 years. Yes, 25 years. Let's watch Speed PC journey. Let's learn and get inspired in the next 90 minutes. Thank you so much.
Well, it seems that we are not able to hear the video, but at least we can watch the journey as we go ahead.
Establish the constitution for society members and frame them as goals and objectives. In 1994,
These are some of the past members and some of the events that we did together.
I have to say, Arshad, some of our past executives have been super talented. I love the dance moves when we have on those gala events. It's amazing to see.
Yeah, truly amazing. And I see some of the members coming up in multiple events. So we've been so active. I'm so proud of Speed.
Absolutely.
Proud of being a part of
I know.
society.
I know the best part is they did a video Bollywood style, like truly Bollywood style last year. That was a super hit video. I'm sure we got like so many views from our YouTube once we posted it there. Amazing to see. Well done, guys.
Awesome.
what happens?
That's the last year's technical seminar, which was done in person. This time you're having it virtually, of course.
I'm sure many of us miss those in-person interactions. I think we had a lot of it this COVID and this, operating in the virtual space. I can't wait for all this to be over. And I know that one of our speakers who has been in the pharmaceutical industry, perhaps he can probably share some insights with us, right, Archa?
Absolutely.
On what's happening around COVID.
Yeah, in fact, I would say he is the next speaker. Thank you so much, Kunal.
Oh, that is awesome.
As we move on to our next speaker, so he's a person who migrated from Philippines just 2 years ago and enjoyed his first summer of the beautiful British Columbia in 2018. Yes, it's that recent. He has over 9 years of experience in sales and client management in the pharmaceutical industry. Bobby, this is the person you were talking about. Maybe he can share something about the COVID vaccine. I don't know. Let's hear it out from him. He is one of our fellow engineers who holds a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering from the University of Santo Tomas in Manila. He was also involved as a volunteer for disaster management organization in 2013. That was for helping Typhoon Haiyan victims, which really speaks to his passion about helping people in general. Please help me in welcoming Eduardo Banana, who is a Community Partnerships Coordinator with Immigrant Employment Council of BC. Eduardo.
Thank you. Yeah, good morning, everyone. And yeah, thank you for that tip. I've been out of the pharmaceutical industry for quite a while, and I've missed the industry. And maybe it's good to brush up on my knowledge and update myself on what's happening, especially with we're the COVID-19 era. But anyway, I'm here today. Thanks for having me here. And good morning, everyone. And I'm here representing the Immigrant Employment Council of BC. And I'm currently working as the coordinator for community partnerships. And I'll talk about Easyjob Connect, which is one of our programs, and touch on the different programs that are interrelated with Easyjob Connect. So to begin with, allow me to first give you an idea of who we are and what we do. So the Immigrant Employment Council of BC, we are an employer-facing, not-for-profit organization. And we are partially funded by the Government of Canada with a mandate to support BC employers on their workforce objectives by helping them find, hire, and retain skilled immigrants. So we have our employer advisory group. So they're a group of HR professionals, business owners, and hiring managers. And we meet them to discuss about the trends in the labor market. And also they do share us the pain points, the challenges that they're facing in terms of hiring and retaining immigrants. And based on what we've heard, these are the common feedback we have received from employers. So first, they don't know and where how to connect with international talent. Second, a lot of employers also have a lack of understanding of international skills, training, and experience. And last but not the least, employers did highlight the importance of communication and soft skills as key workplace competencies. And considering this feedback, we have come up with different programs. On the next slide. Okay, so this is a spectrum of the different programs which came about through the feedback of our employer partners. So we have FAST, which is a skills assessment and gap training program. We have Easyjob Connect, which I'll discuss in detail later, together with Mentor Connect and Connections events. And lastly, we have our newest program, Ascend, which focuses more on the soft skills for newcomers in terms of their employment readiness. So to begin with, allow me to start with Easyjob Connect.
Is it good enough?
Okay, so Easyjob Connect, so it's an easy to use web platform that employers use for their hiring needs and to expand their talent pipeline. And for job seekers and skilled immigrants, it's an easy to use platform where you can showcase your skills, education, and experience to BC employers. So this is what, to give you an idea, this is what employers would view on the platform. So they're able to do specific searches like through language, location in BC. There are preset filters. And at the same time, they can do specified searches using keywords. So for example, if they need to fill gaps in maybe they're looking for engineers, then they can just type in a certain keyword and it would provide them a list of all newcomers in BC who have engineering background. And at the same time, so this is what your profile would look like. Let me go back. Okay. So in your profile, you have provision to reflect your, like for example, many of you may have taken language proficiency exams like IELTS or CLPIP. So there's a provision for you to reflect those scores to give employers more information. You can also indicate what type of jobs you're interested in, what sectors or industry you're interested in. If you do have volunteer experience or any other courses you have taken since you arrive in Canada. So it gives you more information. It helps you to actually show employers what you can contribute on the table. And once an employer is interested in reaching out to you, they just click on the Request Candidate Contact button. And it would prompt us a message to our Easyjob Connect team to actually, if they want to get hold of your contact information. And that's where one of our Easyjob Connect team will call you to confirm if you're interested. And in that case, once we receive your confirmation, then we could actually connect you with the employer. And the good thing about it is it gives you ample time to prepare for a call with an employer. And in terms of eligibility, it's open for all newcomers in BC who are permanent residents and are refugee claimants and who have arrived in the last 5 years, and of course, who are actively seeking employment. So these are sample of the employers registered on the system. So currently we have more than 900 registered employers, and 12% from a last check, 12% belong to the professional, scientific, and technical services. So this include engineering firms like Hemera, Yusenko. We have also BC Hydro, Fortis BC, and a few more. So just to share you a quick glance on some comments from employers themselves. So for example, we have Octaform, which recently hired a senior sales engineer, and also do have other employers who have hired various positions as well through the years. So by signing up on BC Job Connect and having a profile, we also give you priority access to other IAC-BC programs. So from time to time, we do conduct connections events. So these are high impact networking events that are geared to increase connections and hiring opportunities for newcomers. So for example, we had one late last year with SGS Canada. They needed to fill some gaps in their laboratory assistants positions. So we did hire candidates from BC Job Connect. We actually invited 18 candidates, and we did an informational interview and a workplace tour to give them an idea of how it is working in SGS Canada, what is their company culture. And I'm happy to say that out of the 18 candidates, 5 directly got hired from this event. Next slide, please. Okay, and another, going back. Okay, another example of a connections event would be one which we did early this year, and this is focused more on the engineering professionals. So we invited our employer partners like BC Hydro, Fortis BC, and Yusenko, which is an environmental engineering firm. And we also invited distinguished speakers from ASTT BC and from the engineers and geoscientists of BC to discuss about tips and also provide newcomers with engineering background an idea of how it is, how can they actually earn their licenses as professional engineers, what are the steps to take, and if not, what are the other career options where they can still apply their technical skills and knowledge. So the objective of this connection event is more of providing more information and for learning. So we intend to do more of these events in the future, and right now we have shifted everything to be done virtually via Zoom or other platforms. And so we will inform your organization for any upcoming events that we have related to the engineering field. So we do welcome everyone who, especially if you are seeking for a job right now, to please create a profile for free at bcjobconnect.ca. And we also would like to invite your organization. We also do have upcoming candidate registration workshops, which is done online this November 26th and on December 9th. So there are 2 dates. And we will provide your organization with more information and with an invite regarding those upcoming events. So moving forward, we also do have Mentor Connect, wherein we bring together skilled immigrants and establish local professionals for occupation-specific mentoring relationships. So Mentor Connect works in a span of 2 months, in a total of 12 hours. So that would be around 3 to 4 meetings. And now, because of COVID, we have shifted everything to be done online. So mentors and mentees can meet via phone, via Zoom, Teams, or any other platform they prefer. And the mentor is required to introduce the mentee to 2 or more professionals within his or her network. So it's about building your social capital. Okay, so just to share you the benefits of Mentor Connect. So for mentees, it provides you, you gain an understanding on the industry, knowledge, trends, and best practices. You also get to deeply understand the Canadian workplace culture through a mentor. And again, it's about building your professional networks. I remember when I was speaking to one of the employers before, they did mention that sometimes in BC, it's not only what you know, but who you know in BC. So we also try to address that based on the feedback that we receive from employers. So it's about building your professional networks. And therefore, by building your professional networks, you improve your employment prospects. And I'm happy to say that based on our statistics, that 70% of those who completed a program got hired in their field within 6 months. So it just goes to show that mentoring is really effective and helps you, and it also plays a critical role on your success in your career. And for mentors, so you may, SpeedPC may also have candidates we all know, or members who have already established themselves in the country and in the province. So we also do invite mentors. So by being a mentor, you're able to develop your coaching and leadership skills. So it also helps in your professional development. You're also able to support your organization, or if it's a personal belief on or diversity and inclusion. And at the same time, we're all humans. So I think it's also good to know that you're also making a difference in the lives of an individual, of a newcomer. So that's where my presentation would end. And in case you would have any questions or need more information, please do visit our website at iecbc.ca, and also follow our social media handles as reflected on the screen, on your screen. So thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the work that has been done by the Immigration, Employment Council of BC, IECBC. Next time we'll probably book you for the pharmaceutical questions. We'll have a separate talk for that. But it's what a great initiative. I would say this is the crucial information for our newcomers to Canada. Many of us struggle through identifying the right career path where we need to go. And I love the fact that you have the Mentor Connect program on the go, and you're not giving up because we can't meet in person. You still have the open platform like us, doing things virtually. Yeah, it can be not always super smooth. We have a lot of people watching Netflix and sucking up on our internet speeds. That's kind of make everything glitchy. But you know what? At the end of the day, I feel that it is still a great initiative. I would 100% agree with you. I know it's all about who you know versus what you know. It is super critical to really leverage those mentorship connection and leverage Mentor Connect. I'm sure our viewers today would benefit from the information that you have provided. Again, like I would ask our viewers to identify questions, if any specific questions you have for Jason, although I feel your presentation was quite crisp, but if there's anything you have, please do jot it down for our Q&A session later on as well. Thanks again, Eduardo. Awesome. And now we would like to announce our first scholarship. The category is Women in Engineering Scholarship. This category is dedicated to our female engineer students enrolled in the field of obviously engineering and technology in a recognized university in BC. Our Women in Engineering Scholarship winner for 2020 is Manisha Diol. Manisha, let's roll out the video. I think it's safe to assume that technology is not on our side today on a technical seminar. Right, Arsha?
Right, very much. I think it's just best to see the scholarship winners and yeah.
It seems like Netflix is in demand and a lot of people are watching Netflix right now and sucking up the internet connection here.
Well, as
but
long
a
as
huge
to the speakers and the event, I think we're still good, and the scholarship winners should get the money in the end, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? big congratulations to Manisha, though. What an achievement. I'm sure Manisha and women like Manisha, they are paving the path for other women students or female students in the field of engineering, which is obviously a little bit discounted at times. I would say thank you for that, Manisha. We do have, just a quick reminder, we do have our scholarship applications open till January 15, 2021. So if you or someone you know qualifies for that, please go onto our website and apply. Perfect. We can move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is a dynamic, experienced leader with a strong background in stakeholder relations and business development. As a fellow engineer, he has completed his mechanical engineering diploma from BCIT and has done various senior roles at AST TBC for over 12 years. AST TBC, for reference, it maintains a close connection with the professional immigrant community of BC, offering sessions and presentations to IDPs. This could certainly, I would say, an area of interest for many of our viewers today. At present, Jason is serving as a Director of Professional Practices and Business Development at AST TBC, Technology Professionals. So spotlight on Jason Chung. Jason, over to you.
Thank you. Great introduction. I wasn't expecting that. I just want to send regrets. I know the slide on the front there does indicate Teresa McCurry. We were going to actually co-deliver the presentation, and unfortunately she's unexpectedly unavailable, so she sends her regrets. But definitely she was very excited to be part of this. Our organization is very proud to have a long-standing relationship with Speed BC and the other distinguished guests, the speakers. And I think I've been to at least 10 of the galas, and do really enjoy all the dancing and all the great food and all the great company. So it's a treat for me to be here today. Okay, why don't we jump into the presentation. On the slide here, basically what I'll do is go through an overview of AST-TBC and then touch a little bit on the application steps for anyone that's interested, and then wrap it up from there. It's fairly brief, but then offer the Q&A after, and then of course offline to anyone who has questions. We'd be more than happy to spend some time with you. AST-TBC is a professional regulatory body. We were established way back in 1958, and along the way we had a few changes here and there. The ASTT Act in 1985, which established AST-TBC as a regulatory body, and essentially changed our name. And then we transitioned, or we're transitioning currently over to something called the Professional Governance Act. And that may happen sometime this year after government is formed, or very early in the new year. But regardless of that, we are approximately 10,000 registrants across 26 different engineering and applied science technology disciplines. So you add us all up in the country, and there's about 60 to 65,000 registered technologists and technicians and technical specialists in Canada. And our organization belongs to a national consortium of provincial associations called TPC, Technology Professionals Canada. And really what that means is in every province, there is an organization like the TPC that does the same function for the people that reside in those provinces. And the next slide. Like many regulatory bodies out there, our mission is to protect the public. And we do this by regulating and supporting technology professionals' commitment to safe, healthy, and sustainable society and environment. So the next few slides will explain what that means. So essentially, we protect the public interest by regulating the practice of applied science and engineering technology professionals. We register and certify individuals. And of course, the focus here today is internationally trained professionals. But of course, we have registrants from across BC and across the country as well. What we do there is maintain high standards of certification for those registrants. So people that do become registered and certified with ASTTBC have not only met the standards of competency, they're expected to maintain those as well throughout their registration. And one of the things we do throughout the period of that is audit or check continuing professional development activity of registrants. So that's increasingly becoming a really important piece of making sure that you're competent. And ASTTBC has a formal program to track that for anyone who is registered. And I mentioned the disciplines that we register in. These are them. I'm sure there's people online today that fit into these different disciplines. There are other disciplines as well that aren't listed here that are more of a specialty, such as fire protection technologists, and also underground utility locators, house inspectors, and a variety of different sub-occupations for these main disciplines. So I encourage anybody who's interested in becoming registered to take a look at the full gamut to see where you might qualify. And next slide. I wanted to touch briefly on the different designations. The two main designations that people here would be qualifying for would be the CTech, or the Certified Technician, or the ASCT, the Applied Science Technologist. If the Canadian experience is still being obtained or it hasn't yet been met, many internationally trained professionals are just getting started, and they may not have experience. But we recognize previous experience from your home country, and essentially put you into a category of trainee. These ones here are a little bit different than the standard trainee in that you're recognized for your international experience already. So you're really a provisionally certified technician or provisionally certified applied science technologist. Just a brief description of both the CTech and the ASCT on the next couple slides is a certified technician is usually somebody that studied courses in math, basic engineering theory, and applied science principles. And here in Canada, most of the programs that meet the CTech level are 1 year in duration. And you would get a 1 year certificate from a place like BCIT or Kwantlen, Camosun College, and other various Canadian institutions that offer the certificate. Those particular individuals are usually involved with testing, inspection, troubleshooting, and some repair. And it's important to note that these particular individuals can take on areas of higher responsibility. So there is an opportunity for people to ladder into higher level of responsibility. What we want to stress is for this and the next slide when we get to it is that the equivalencies that we start to check are based on the content of the certificate or diploma, and it's not necessarily tied to the duration. So when we get into a couple of the slides a little later on, it will talk about equivalency. The ASCT, or the Applied Science Technologist, is somebody that studied advanced courses in math. Some of the times you'll see the demarcation at the point of calculus. A lot of diploma programs, which is required for an applied science technologist as a minimum, have advanced courses in math or calculus and engineering theory, and definitely applied scientific principles. So those types of individuals that qualify at this level are usually have a bit higher depth of knowledge with the systems that they're involved with, and that allows them to do things like designing or interpreting data. And in many of the jobs that you'll find out there is, you know, on top of drafting and design would be preparation of specifications and eventually moving into managing projects. The engineering team in BC is sort of broken down into a few different layers here. And you can see in the third row down the ASCT or CTEC, and definitely defer to my longtime colleague Caroline to talk about the PEng, of course, and the NGEL, but just to give you sort of an idea of what these are. The designations are in the middle, and then on the right-hand column, you'll see sort of the time frames for qualification generally. And of course, there's the trades, which are represented by the Industry Training Association. The professional certification requirements, essentially meeting at least a certificate or diploma minimum that's equivalent. Usually you require 2 years of work experience and 4 professional references who can attest to technical competence. And in the case of the 2 years, it is 2 years. If you have more than 2 years abroad from your home country, then that's counted. So we will review that against some of the educational credentials and work experience requirements. And what's indicated in here is usually there's a requirement to obtain a year of experience in the local jurisdiction. So typically on the 2 years, it's at least 1 year at the level of certification that you seek, plus 1 year in Canada, which adds up to the 2 years. You also are required to complete a professional practice and ethics exam and ensure that you're meeting a professional code of conduct called the Code of Ethics. For the internationally trained professionals, as I've mentioned a couple times, the work experience from your home country is considered. And again, there's that second point there. Minimum 2 years of related work experience in the field or discipline of engineering technology, and 1 must be at the level of certification sought. So if you're looking to become registered at the certified technician level, then your competencies have to meet the established competencies at that level. If you want to apply for the higher designation of ASCT, then your competencies must meet those specific levels. The provisional designation that I spoke of earlier it's only temporary. It's there to assist the internationally trained professional to obtain work by letting the employers know that you meet the certification requirements, just that you're seeking another year in the jurisdiction that you're planning to work in. And next slide. Is it possible to move? Yeah, thank you. So the first steps for ITPs is to complete a self-assessment, have your transcripts and documents in hand. The original transcripts will be required. And also, if you're going to get equivalencies with credential assessments, we really recommend the detailed WES or ICES assessments, because those will give us a little bit more insight as to the value of the specific courses and the course listings for your diplomas and degrees from abroad. There is a little bit of assistance that is needed for us in terms of making sure that the translation meets, but we will take a look at all the documentation to ensure that it meets the Canadian standards. I just wanted to also mention that there are various credential recognition programs throughout the province, and encourage people to look into those as well, especially with our employment partners. The next slide, self-assessment. Basically, the self-assessment is there to take a look at what your competencies are from your point of view, to let us know what we're looking at in terms of where you're hoping to be certified, and gives us a good indication of whether or not you may meet the competency standards. So what we want to do is make sure that the technologist self-assessment is recommended to be done first, then the technician, unless you believe your competency levels are at the technician level. And always select the top competencies, 5 of them hopefully, and as many indicators that are applicable. And when you're going through most of these application processes, please be prepared to provide support or proof of work experience through professional references. Now, because everything's handled online and digitally, it's we can take email addresses, and our registration system then reaches out to your references, even if they're not here locally. So a couple of these slides, I'll move through it fairly quickly. That's what the page looks like there for the self-assessments, and it gives you a full overview of what the process looks like when you do that. And this is, we'll have the address at the end of the presentation for you, but it's just to give you a little bit of a look here. The next slide talks about selecting technician or technologist, and the 2 different categories there will give you an idea of what I just spoke about in terms of the requirements. And the next slide basically is just a little bit of an indication of what it looks like to identify your competencies. And so once you select your disciplines, you'll get a chance to review yours against the Canadian standards, and that's how we generally populate the process of application. Next slide. I believe this is the last slide. But the process here is just to apply online at Technology Registrations Canada. And again, there will be a link at the end of on the next slide, I believe. But the applicant is supposed to detail academic and work experience that meets the national competency benchmark. So a lot of ITP resumes and self-assessments that I see are very high in caliber, especially those coming from BTC. But I would say it's very important to match up your competencies very closely with the indicators within those self-assessment areas, because those will form the backbone of where you're going to prove out your competencies through an application. So once that happens, we do check to make sure that there are references available, and that the applicant is completing the professional practice and ethics exam. And then the application is reviewed by subject matter experts, and then it's referred to the Board of Examiners. And once that review occurs, the successful applicant receives professional designation, and the process there from start to finish is usually in the range of about 3 months. So every about 3 or 4 months, there is a major meeting called the Board of Examiners meeting. So it's important that we are available to you to help you work through the process of applying if you're interested in receiving credentials. So I think the next slide is the last one. And definitely, if you have any questions, we'll take them at the end of the presentation, but techinfo@asttbc.org. Definitely, we would handle your questions there. And if you're interested in taking a look at the process of application and some of the screenshots that I just went through, it's asttbcapply.ca. Thank you.
That was quite descriptive of Jason. Bobby, when I migrated to Canada not too long ago, I was not aware of the professional technology associations that I could get associated with or maybe get certified from and advance my career. I really think this is a great platform, especially for immigrants or international students or people who are coming from outside to know what they can do in order to get certified or to get into the field of their choice and to move ahead. I really think so. Thank you so much, Jason. That was enlightening. Moving on, I would like to announce the next scholarship, which is the post-secondary scholarship. This category is dedicated to a post-secondary student enrolled in an engineering or technology-related field at a recognized university, college, or technical school in BC. And the winner for this category is Anuradha Ramachandran. Okay, I believe we are not having a good day with technology. We are probably not.
She completed her
I have to say, Arshia, it seems like there are too many good shows on Netflix. I would blame it on Netflix.
At least it's good to see her there, right? It's good to see her in action. I mean, if we can't hear what she has to say, but all right, we'll take a cue from this, and maybe the next time we know what to do with this, with the sounds. I think it's safe to move ahead. But hey, Bobby, you know how interesting it is to see another women scholarship winner. I mean, there was one woman in engineering that had to be a woman, but this category was open uh, for everyone. So we have another women scholarship winner here. It is indeed inspiring to see so many women winning in areas traditionally chosen by men. I must say, way to go, Anuradha.
That is amazing, Arsha. I would say, like, even looking at our executive board now and looking at our membership base altogether, it seems like we have so many more women joining the team. We have like on the executive board, we have so many of them, and it's phenomenal to see how we are actually paving the path and for future generations as well. So good to see. Very congratulations to Anuradha again.
Indeed. On that note, I would like to remind everyone that the scholarship applications for the year 2021 are now open. You can visit our website, speedbc.org, and make your application. If there is a person who is not a member of SpeedBC, he or she first needs to register as a member. Okay, it's now time for a short break for 5 minutes. It's really just a really short break. We'll be back. So grab a coffee, refresh yourselves, and come back for another round of scholarships and interesting stories from our speakers. See you soon.
And don't turn on any videos or start watching Netflix.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Okay, I believe it's time to start again. Welcome back. I hope you all had a good chance to stretch yourself and get on a quick bio break. We are now in the second leg of our event, where I'd like to introduce our next speaker, a multi talented fellow engineer who has completed her bachelor's degree in physics and mechanical engineering from the University of Victoria. She's been with Apec BC for over 20 years, where she has worked in the registration department and has been involved in the evaluation of applicants' credentials, especially the interview process. Sounds like music to to the ears of so many listeners today, and especially people who have migrated to Canada, isn't it? She's also heavily involved in outreach and has given presentations on the application process to members in training, employers, and internationally trained professionals. Please help me in welcoming Caroline Westra, who is Manager of Academic and Experience Assessment at Apec, BC.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I really enjoy the opportunity to speak to the members of Speak BC. I've been doing it for quite a number of years in all sorts of different locations, and so this is just a new challenge. And so you've asked me to keep it short, so what I'm going to do is just talk about a quick overview process of how people get registered. So if you'd like to go to the next slide. We've been around a little bit longer than ASTTBC. We are actually celebrating 100 years of registering engineers in the province of British Columbia. We've been registering geoscientists since 1990, so we're a regulatory body. And basically, when you get right down to it, if you wish to practice as an engineer in British Columbia, you are legally required to be registered with us if you want to practice independently. The Act states that all engineering that's done in BC is either done by a professional engineer or is done under the supervision of a professional engineer. And only people who are registered with us are legally allowed to use the term engineer. We'll just ignore that group called Microsoft engineers. We've tried talking to Microsoft. They have more money and better lawyers than we do. But we have 30,000 members. And so together, we try to make it as easy as possible for people to go through the process. Next slide. And our website has recently been updated to try to showcase the information more clearly. And so I welcome everybody to take a look at it and take a look at the information we have provided. Next slide. So when we are evaluating somebody's credentials, what we look at are 4 different aspects. Academics, do you have a 4 to 5 year engineering degree or applied science or science degree? And we don't care where. If you have an international degree, of course, we'll take a look at it. You may or may not be required to complete some additional academic exams. It all depends on your academics and your overall experience. Engineering experience, we look for 4 years of satisfactory engineering experience. One of those 4 years needs to be gained in a Canadian environment. So not necessarily in Canada, but in a Canadian environment. And we use a competency-based assessment system to determine whether or not your experience meets the requirements. And so on our website, you will find a description of the 34 different competencies that we expect our engineering applicants to demonstrate at the appropriate level when they apply for registration. Our law and ethics requirements include both a professional practice exam and we have an online seminar. And so the combination of the two are intended to make sure that you have a good understanding of the legal and ethical requirements and the trouble you can get into if you don't abide by the code of ethics and what is expected of you as a professional engineer. Because as a professional engineer, when you sign anything, you are taking not only professional liability, but personal liability for everything that you sign for up to 15 years after the project is complete. So we want to make sure that you are aware of all these implications. And of course, we have a good character requirement. When you apply, we ask you to inform us if you've ever been in trouble with the law or if you've been in trouble with a regulatory body. Thankfully, the majority of people who contact us, their trouble involves alcohol and youth, and generally forgivable offenses. But for more serious cases, we do go into more detail, right into we might go through a registration hearing if necessary, depending on exactly what is the situation, but only a small portion of applicants ever have to go through this. So those are the basic 4 things that we look for everybody who is applying for registration. Next slide. Now, what we are doing is taking a look at exactly what do we mean by 1 year of experience in a Canadian environment. So British Columbia led a national project to define what is Canadian experience. And what we have done is we've looked at the existing competency system, and we've determined that there are some specific competencies that most illustrate the kind of skill set that we're looking we're looking for people to demonstrate when they want to prove they have Canadian environment experience. So this means it's not necessarily in Canada, it could be international experience, and you would have to present it in a way that demonstrates that it's equivalent to experience that you would gain here in Canada. For example, one of the things we look for is knowledge of codes and standards. And so you would demonstrate how you have applied codes and how they are similar or not to Canadian codes and your awareness of Canadian codes. Now, we've been working on this for several years, and it is my hope and understanding that sometime later this month, we're actually going to be posting this information up on our website so that when you apply for registration, not only do you fill out all 34 competencies, but you get more detailed information about 8 of those competencies and how you can use your experience to illustrate that you have the equivalent to Canadian experience for those specific competencies. Next slide. Now, there's not a lot of time in an event like this to go into detail about the whole application process. So what I wanted to do is to let everyone know that we do have webinars. They are available through our online store, and anyone can actually purchase them because they cost $0, but you have to go through the purchase process in order to get them downloaded to your computer. And the Path to Professional Licensure is a 45-minute seminar plus a Q&A that talks about the entire registration process and all of the steps that you have to go through to become registered as a professional. And then the tips webinar actually goes into detail on the competency reporting system. And it describes in detail how best to present your experience so that you can really show what a good engineer you are and demonstrate that you've progressed in experience and responsibility and you're ready to take on full professional registration. Next slide. So, because this is a seminar aimed at a lot of people who are looking for work, they may be underemployed, they may be unemployed, and looking for the different options, I wanted to point out that we also have a mentoring program that is available for people. And this mentoring program allows you to choose what kind of mentor that you would like to have. Would you like to have a mentor, a registration mentor to help you go through the registration process? Perhaps you might want to have someone who can help you go through the competency system and maybe review your competency examples and give you advice and guidance on how you might want to rephrase or reframe your experience to clearly show what you've done. Or you might want a career mentor. You might want somebody to talk to about your career, about networking opportunities, about that aspect, and right down to, this is what my company is asking me to do. Is this normal for an engineering company? And take advantage of that opportunity. Next slide. Okay, and so as I said, I was told to make it quick and make it short. And so this is a very high level overview. I point out an email address that I would encourage people to use. It's register@egbc.ca. This email address will take you to the registration department directly, and all 12 of us who work in the registration department respond to these emails. So we try to answer them as quickly as possible. And by contacting us by email, it gives you the opportunity to put your question in writing and get an answer in writing. And I also just wanted to point out that Jason had mentioned that they take advantage of WES and ICES academic evaluations. I just wanted to inform your attendees. We are legally required at Engineers and Geoscientists BC to do our own academic evaluation. Our act does not allow us to accept the findings of WES or ICES. However, if you sent them your transcripts to help with your immigration, you can ask WES to forward them to us. And so we can't use their findings, but we can certainly use the transcript, because we do recognize that it can be difficult to go back to your home university and ask for another set of transcripts to be sent to us. And so I guess I will leave it there, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with your members. And I'm ready to answer any questions, whether you want to put them in the chat box or if you want to save them to the Q&A. I'd be happy to speak to members, and I look forward to learning more about who's won scholarships. As a woman with an engineering degree, I really appreciate seeing more women going up for engineering degrees. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. It seems like, Apec BC is the gateway to our engineers, and having 30,000 members, that's phenomenal. And, I like the fact that you shared a lot of the insights that are probably, already listed on these websites, and sometimes there's a lot more details that are already there. But I feel like sometimes we assume that, hey, in order for me to start my career in engineering, I have to now go through this mandatory exam and this whole format of completion before I can actually, even register myself. So I feel that's more like a myth busting that you did. I really liked it. And you know what, like, I'd love to know that you are also, work towards keeping the engineers out of trouble. We don't like to be in trouble. And, knowing our technical background, we are not lawyers. So it's good to have that kind of, the protocol that you have in place. I also enjoyed the fact that you talked about what qualifies as a Canadian experience. That's the term. I think that's a pet peeve for many of us. And as we hear the term Canadian experience, like what is the equivalent of Canadian experience? Good to have some of your additional insights of that, Carolyn. Thank you very much. I feel that these are the critical insights for our newcomers and potentially solve for a lot of our key pain points here. Again, I would encourage the audience to please jot down your questions for Carolyn and submit it via chat box. We'll take it in a Q&A session. Up next, we have our next category of scholarship. It's called the New Immigrant Scholarship. This is dedicated for a new immigrant who has been in Canada for 2 years or less and pursuing their post-secondary education in the field of engineering from, obviously, in BC. And the New Immigrant Scholarship for 2020 goes to Satinder Paul Singh Sodhi. Satinder, congratulations to you. Are we attempting to, yes, playing the video? Perfect. It seems like our videos are not on our side today, but it's what a great achievement, I would say. Good to see our applicants and folks like Satinder Paul to be able to qualify and grow into the field of engineering. Definitely, Satinder, knowing Satinder, I know he's a very dedicated and sincere, and I would say deserving student into the engineering field. We are very glad to honor you with our scholarship.
I would just like to add, Bobby, since we are unable to play the video, Satinder is pursuing environmental engineering at BCIT. He has worked with young mindset at post-secondary institutes in Punjab and has played a significant role in developing environmental awareness. So that's the information that I got since we are unable to play his video. I think it's commendable what Satinder is doing for the environment. I think this is really the need of the hour. This is what I have learned in 2020 so far.
That is awesome. And, I know technology is not on our side right now in terms of playing these videos, but I feel we are still taking a lot of valuable information from these presentations. And we promise that we'll have these videos loaded up on our website and on our Facebook page. So please do not forget to check them out at a later date. I'm sure, I know the Facebook videos, they play so smoothly, and it seems like we are hoping the exact same thing on our seminar today, but that's okay. Let's go on to our next speaker. Our next speaker, he came to Canada as a student in 1999. He completed his double major in mathematics and computer science from University of Alberta. As a migrant himself, Vimal understands the challenges that come in settling down into the new country. As such, he started his recruitment and immigration services to help others like himself who want to start the new life in Canada. He brings the wealth of knowledge to the table and provides advice based on both on his training at RCIC as an RCIC consultant, as well as his own experiences. He is also a PMI AHL certified practitioner and project management professional. Please help me in welcoming Vimal Hardat, who's an associate at Tima Solutions Group. Welcome, Vimal. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity today. I'm going to keep this in two folds. One, I'll speak a little bit about Tima, but at the same time, what I really wanted to concentrate today is the recruitment and how it may help the fellow engineers and even for the clients who are looking for good engineers. Now, I'll leave my immigration part for some other day because it's going to get a little too lengthy otherwise. So I'll just stick to recruitment today. But thank you so much for a great introduction. So Tima Solutions is one of the recruitment agencies out in Vancouver. Matter of fact, is they've grown over throughout the North America now. Basically, obviously, as any of the recruitment agencies, hopefully there's some really good ones out there. It's always to have a good, meaningful relationship by creating good experience with just not the clients, but also the consultants. I'm sorry, I'm not really going through the slides. I'm going through my own slides. If you wanted to just, I'm just going to keep going through mine, so that way it's easier. Basically, what we do is we obviously have we have 3 dimensions, just so you know. We work in a few dimensions of recruitment. We do engineering, we do IT as well, but really closely we work a lot with IT and engineering. Basically, as I said, that we create value for the clients and just basically what you're looking out for. Again, I'm not going to talk generally about Tima specifically. I'm just going to talk more about recruitment to help the fellow engineers in here. So basically what you're looking out for in any recruitment agency, obviously Tima has that, is someone who's going to be compassionate towards the consultants and the engineers, especially the new immigrants, because these are the ones which needs a lot of good guidance of to how to go into getting, approaching the job, interviews, how you can align your resume as well as your expertise and experience for that specific job. And that's where the recruiters will come great value or bring great value to those immigrant engineers. Again, it's like, as I was saying, the Tima has a lot of domains that we work with, but technology and engineering is basically one of the major ones that we work with. It's the main vertical that we personally work a lot with. Tima, we do a lot of charity as much as we can, obviously, and we work with really competitive and we work with very good, very big array of clients that we personally work with, and yeah. So basically, this is more about the Tima in general. It's a great company that we work for. But then again, I'm not here to talk more about Tima, but I'm really wanting to talk more about the recruitment in general. So now coming to my second phase of my presentation, why are we even here, or why does it bring value to engineers is, I mean, some of the clients that are looking for good engineers, we obviously have a good pool of engineers that we work closely with the consultants in general. And for the consultants, what really brings value is that obviously we have the ears to the hiring manager and the hiring process. So while if your application is getting declined, we'll definitely get you answers for why is it getting declined. And it will only enhance and better your applications for the future applications that you may have or you may want to pursue. Obviously, the steps we take is quite rigorous. Again, you work with any recruitment agency. What you want to have with you is working with a recruiter who you're comfortable with. It's like he's your agent, if you want to call him that or her that. If they are anything, they're your agent. So you have to work with them in a way where they understand and know your background, but at the same time, they also understand that what exactly are you looking for. And if in case the match isn't there, then they should be the first filter for you to let you know that, there is no match here in a role that you may be looking for, and why there is no match. So, and if there is anything, because then what that does, it helps you align your profile for the right roles, but at the same time saves the client's time as well by not submitting candidates that are probably not going to be matched anyway. So it kind of brings value to both ends, is to the consultants as well as the clients. As far as for the immigration in general, or immigration, the new immigrants, as I would say, is that some of the clients are very headbent about local experience. Now that is something that, where the recruiters can come and help negate it in some way or the other, is to help align this fact that, yes, but then again, at the same time, working as your agent, we have to tell the clients that, obviously there's no local experience, but the experience that comes from back home is still significant, and how is it significant? And that's basically where we actually come down to. In conclusion, I could say that it's definitely worthwhile for the consultants, the new engineers who are in town, or even the ones who have been here for many years, is to speak to a few recruiters. There's some great recruitment agencies out there. As I said, TMI is one of the top ones. Obviously, I'll market TMI here, but at the same time, I'm not look for one good recruiter and work with them closely, and that will be of a great benefit for you guys. And thank you for your time. I'll be sticking around for the Q&A if you guys have any questions also. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Vimal. It is indeed amazing that you have learned from your own experience and you're trying to get fellow engineers, technologists, and even people from other fields of work settled down as quickly as possible. Our next scholarship, moving on, is the International Student Scholarship. This is one for an international student studying in Canada with a valid student visa, enrolled in or pursuing an engineering or technology related field of study at a school, university, or college in BC. And the winner of the International Student Scholarship is Anupam Saha. I'm not sure if you're trying to attempt the video for Anupam, but anyway. Anupam is a student at UBC, University of British Columbia. He's studying marine engineering. And I just happened to receive a message from Anupam since the video is not working. He says, SpeedBC scholarship will help many international students like me to have a strong foothold in a foreign country and dream of what they want to become. Indeed, a very powerful message, Anupam. Thank you so much. And many congratulations. I'm glad to see that you will be able to benefit from the International Student Scholarship.
Awesome. Thank you, Arshia. I know the videos are not on our site today. So before we move on to our next scholarship, we just received regrets from our Honorable Minister, Mr. Navdeep Singh Bains, who's the Minister of Innovation, Science, and Economic Development. A lot of people call him Minister of Everything. It seems like he has a pretty loaded title there. He has led like multi-billion projects and strategies for department that he oversees for federal government. And he was definitely looking forward to join us live, but given what's happening around us, he did send us his regrets, but he wishes everyone well, and to our viewers and to the audience and to the SpeedBC team. And he has promised to join us on our next virtual event. So thank you, Mr. Benz. We'll move on to our next scholarship, which is the Entrance Scholarship. Again, like this Entrance Scholarship is designed for the high school students, grade 12, or recent graduates who are planning to pursue their post-secondary in the field of engineering or technology in BC. And our Entrance Scholarship winner for 2020 is Gordon Singh Gill. Gordon Singh Gill, big congratulations to you. Arsha, I'm not too sure if you have received any messages. I know we are unable to play the video, so we'll post the videos up on the website as well.
I do. I just have a small, since he's a class 12 graduate, I do have a small introduction by Gordon. He says he was born and raised in the small town of Mission, where he would help his grandmother and take care of his younger brother as his parents were always working. So he says that working, taking care of his family, his grandmother has helped him learn about responsibility and respect. He likes to learn, whether it be new skills or improving old ones. And he also says that it can be difficult to learn new things and balance it with everything else that's going on, but he has been able to do it. I really hope this scholarship helps him go ahead and dream and become what he dreams of becoming, and he's able to achieve his dreams. Thank you so much, Gordon, and many congratulations to you. Okay, so of course, before we move ahead, I still want to remind everyone to apply for the Applicant Scholarship for the year 2021. The applications are open, and they're open until January 15. You have to visit the website, which is speedbc.org. Okay, so now's the time we've all been waiting for, to get our voices heard and our questions answered. I hope you have been active and you have sent in your questions and speakers to whom they are addressed. I will be handing over this section to Ramneek to take us through the question and answers. Over to you, Ramneek.
Thank you so much, Arsha, and thank you so much, everybody, to join in at Saturday morning. So we are running into quite short of time. So my first question is for Eduardo. Well, Eduardo, is there any job-seeking category for people with disabilities that can be followed, or are there any resources that population with disabilities can follow through on your website? Oh, I'm sorry. I have to unmute you. Yeah, okay, Eduardo, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ramneek. So you're just to clarify your question. So you did mention if there are any other services as well for persons with disabilities. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we do work in a space of diversity and inclusion, but specifically the mandate that was given to us by the federal government is more into newcomer skilled immigrants. So we're focused on that specific mandate, but we do. I know of some organizations that do work on the D&I, diversity and inclusion space, particularly on those persons or people with disabilities. I believe we have connected before with Work BC as well. They do have initiatives to support that certain group, and I do maybe. For those individuals, they can check on the Work BC website, because aside from working with employers, we do connect with different organizations as well, like service delivery partners, community groups, and even professional immigrant networks like SpeedBC. So I guess I'm not in the best position to share which programs would be available to support people with disabilities, but just to mention, just from what I know, Work BC, which is a provincial, funded by the provincial government, does have a number of those programs. So I hope I was able to answer your question, Ramneek.
Yeah, definitely. You pretty much answered the question, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll move on to our next question, and next question is for Jason. So, Jason, your question for you is, if you have your evaluations done through ICES or WIS, does one still need a subject course details description from university, as sometimes it is very difficult to get, like Caroline answered for EGBC. So can you confirm that from ASTBC side as well?
Yeah, so that's I'm glad that question came up, because my answer to how we utilize the WES and the ICES is virtually identical to EGBC. So we use that as a tool to help us take a look at what some of the courses might look like, because they're done against transcripts or other documentation that is sometimes difficult to obtain. So we do look at the WES and ICES. However, you know, we do our own independent competency assessment against all of the indicators in the self-assessment in order to determine, partly anyway, whether or not you're eligible to become registered. So yes, in many cases you'll have to obtain that type of information from your home school or university or technical college.
I guess this question might have answered queries to for so many people. And thank you so much for joining in today, and thank you so much for answering this question.
Thanks. I'm sorry to jump in for a second, but I thought maybe wanted to add to Eduardo's question, the question for him about diverse or disabilities. I just want to say on the ASTT website, we did do a Government of BC funded project called Techability, and there's a variety of resources available, including job seeker support, employers that supported the project, and just a framework matrix that deals with occupations. So I encourage you to go to ASTTBC's website and search Techability, and I can forward a link to the SpeakBC staff after.
Awesome. We will send it to all of our viewers as well. Thank you so much for your answer. Okay, next question is for Caroline. So Caroline, let me just unmute you first, and then I'll throw the question at you. So question for you is, there is a broad statement on EGBC's website about looking to exempt candidates. So our viewer wants to know that is there know about the more about the process, and is this process for EIT or PEng?
This process is generally for people who are applying to be a professional engineer. If you have an international engineering degree, odds are it's from a country or an academic institution that has not signed onto a mutual recognition agreement, such as the Washington Accord. And so because of that, most internationally trained engineers are in the category of they should be assigned exams. But what we've done with the looking to exempt process is we're looking to exempt you from writing exams via your experience. And so we take a look at your engineering experience and see whether or not you can answer technical questions in your field, whether you can demonstrate you've got good hands-on engineering experience, and can we justify waiving the exams? Because we're answerable to the government. And so whenever we make decisions like this, we have to tell the government, yes, we checked. These are good engineers. We didn't just let any Joe Public run loose with an engineering stamp and say that they are an engineer, because as Jason said, our first job is to protect the public and make sure that people who call themselves engineers are qualified. But we want to give internationally trained engineers every opportunity to demonstrate that they are qualified. And so the looking to exempt process is one way we do that. We talk to you about your experience. You might come in for an interview and talk with senior engineers, and you will be expected to talk the talk. If you're an electrical engineer, you need to be answering electrical engineering questions related to the projects that you've worked on. And if you can answer those technical questions, odds are good. We're talking 75 to 80% success rate of waiving the academic exams. Where people aren't successful is when they went straight from school to management, or if their communication skills are weak, because we can't make assumptions. We're not doing our job to protect the public if we assume you do what you say you can do. We actually have to pose questions. We have to get the information, and you have to present the information in a way that really shows, yes, you're a good engineer. And as I say, once you've done that, odds are pretty good that we will waive the academic exams for you. And so that's what the whole looking to exempt process is about. And when you apply, we automatically review your application to see, are you going to qualify for this process? So it's something that we do internally when you apply for registration as a professional engineer.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering this question. And I feel that this question is pretty much common with all the engineers who come to Canada from international background experience. And thank you so much, Caroline, for answering this question.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally muted you.
I was just going to say, anybody who's interested, go on, and you want to see if your school might be accredited. We have the reputable institution list on our website, but you can also Google Washington Accord and find out if your country's a signatory. And then if your country's a signatory, then you go to your country's accreditation board and you find out, is your school on the list?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Caroline. I'll move over to the last question. So that question is for Vimal. Vimal, what is the process? Like, is it possible to share any example steps without naming how you have helped land a new immigrant engineer a good job? Yes. I'm just. Oh, sorry. Oh no, Vimal is here. Okay, Vimal, please go ahead.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Yeah. Yeah. So Ramnik, that's a really broad question. It's absolutely 100%. A lot of my specialty over the last at least a couple of years has been working with new immigrants. Because I feel quite connected to them. At the same time, I want to help them land the job. So it kind of solves two purposes for me, obviously professionally and personally. So to answer your question, absolutely 100%. And that's why I say is for the immigrants or the new immigrants, engineers, ITs, as we are in engineering forum here. So engineers should definitely look out for good recruitment agencies, speak to a few recruiters, and then work through with them. I'm quite positive they will have great success and great help for just not for now, also in future.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for answering this question. I'll just forward the stage to our MCs now, Arshia and Bobby, because we are running very short of time. So Arshia, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ramnik. I'd now like to invite a woman leader, engineer, and a busy mom who moved to Canada in 2005. She holds the master's degree in computer science and has been working in software development for the past 16 years. She has previously served as the membership director of Speed BC in 2008 and is back for another stint with us. She is now serving as the first woman vice president of Speed BC. Please welcome Jasmeet Chahal as she takes us through a thank you note.
Thank you, Arsha. What a wonderful introduction. Well, I would want to thank you all. You were all able to join us today, and a special thank you to our speakers for providing their deep insights about their fields. All these challenges, the technology challenges that we saw today, I hope we all are taking away a thing or a two from the event. And in case if you would like to have or to learn any topics that got presented today, please do not hesitate to contact us via email or by phone. And again, I would like to congratulate our SpeedBC scholarship winners. And sorry, we were not able to actually play your videos, but we wish you luck for your exams. You guys are very busy right now, and I know, and we wish you all the best for the future endeavors. Remember again, our scholarships for 2021 is now open. And if you or someone you know qualifies, please encourage them to join SpeedBC and apply for the membership. And remember, our membership is free. Well, last but not least, events like these are not possible without a great teamwork. A big thank you to our entire team of executive members who have continued to support us throughout all the initiatives as we expand our footprint. Our volunteers who have worked countless hours in planning today's event, Ramneek for staying on top of all Q&As, Arsha and Bobby for keeping everyone engaged, and obviously Kunal, our president, in leading this event. Once again, I would say thank you everyone and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jasmeet. Signing off on behalf of SpeedBC team. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And do send us your questions if you have. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.